Today we're going to make a bean and sausage casserole. This is an easy recipe. I'm going to use baked beans, but you can use other beans, whatever you prefer. So let's start off by prepping the vegetables. So here I have a pepper. We'll start off prepping this. Now, some people will cut around here and then pull the middle section out, but this is just the way I do it. It's entirely up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So I will cut round and then just cut the end off, and this I will discard. I'll just shake the seeds out of this section, the middle section, and then what I'll do is I will cut down like this, and then I will go across like this. But everyone, just remember, be comfortable and just do it the way that you feel comfortable with. This is just the way that I do it. Now, obviously, if you're making a smaller portion, you may only use half the pepper. Just cover the other half up with cling film and pop it back in the fridge. You can use it another day, or you may just do a large portion and then just tub it for the next day. So I'm just going to chop up the pepper, and then I'll move on to the onion. So I've done my pepper, I'm just moving on to the onion. I tend to have a bowl next to me just to discard all the leftover bits. So, onion. So you take off, just peel off with your hands, outer, or you can use a knife like this to scrape it off if it's really loose. I tend to just, so I'll cut the top, and then I'll cut the bottom, and then I'll do a little slit across there, and then I will pull this extra bit that we don't want off, like this. So just peel that. Now I will cut down. Now, everyone cuts onion in a different way. As long as it's cut to smaller pieces, it's fine. So do it the way you're comfortable with. So I'm going to cut along. Or you can cut the other way, like this. If you're not very confident, you can cut it in little sections and then just cut it as it's lying down. As I say, I'm not a chef, I'm just a mum, so just do it the way you're comfortable with. So now we're going to move on to the green beans. So with the green beans, here's the green beans. We want to top and tail them, so we just want to take that off, turn it round, take that off, and then cut them into smaller pieces, probably 3 or maybe even 4. So we're just going to do that with the beans. Now I'm going to put some carrots in mine. So I've got a carrot. Just going to peel. Some people peel it this way, some people peel it this way. Again, it's entirely up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm going to peel it this way, like this. So when you're peeling it this way, you want your thumb along, hold it here, and your thumb runs along. So you've always got control of the knife, so you're less likely to cut yourself. So turning the carrot around, do it slowly, you don't have to do it fast. There we go. And then out of the way. I've got a different knife here, but you can use the same knife, whatever you've got. Cut the top, cut the bottom. Then I'm going to cut along the carrot. This is quite a big carrot, so I'm going to cut it along again. And this one, I might cut this one into 3 strips. And then I'm going to cut it into small pieces like this. So they're little carrot bits. I'll go do that all the way down the carrot. And that's ready. Here we go. Here are all my vegetables all prepped. Now it's really important when you're using vegetables to please wash the vegetables. Now bear in mind they're just put into a packet. You don't know who's been handling them. Sometimes they have a little bit of sand in, they have pesticides on them unless you can buy organic. You just want to make sure you give the vegetables a really good rinse under the water. Some people will soak their vegetables like broccoli, green beans, and other types of veg in some salt water, and then they give it a rinse. So it's entirely up to you, but please just make sure you give the vegetables a good rinse under the water. So here are my shop bought sausages. I'm just going to put a little hole in them like this, just a little stab on each end. This will just help the fat and the juices run out. Don't use the same knife because as obviously I've just stuck it into the meat, so we'll put this one in the sink. Now you can either grill your sausages, which is fine, but say if you're only cooking just for yourself and you've just got 2 sausages, you can pan fry them, whatever suits you. Today I'm just going to pan fry it, so just put the gas on, turn it down a little, pop the pan on. Now we only want to cook them gently, so don't have the gas on too high, because what will happen is that it will just burn on the outside and not actually cook. I'm going to put a bit of spray oil in, let that heat up. And then I'm just going to pop the sausages in. There we go. Remember, it's on a low, we just want to cook it gently. Now if you don't feel that you've had enough oil, if you don't feel you've sprayed enough, you can always spray a little bit more just over the sausages like this. That's fine. Right, the other pan, we'll just put the gas on, not on a high. I put 4 sprays of oil in. I've just put 5, an extra one, there we go. So if you don't have a spray, you can just use normal olive oil or sunflower oil, vegetable oil, whatever you have. It's about a teaspoon oil. And then what I'm going to do is put in my onions. And carrots. And we just let that cook a little. Turn the sausages over. Now, if you're not very good at multitasking and having two pans on the go, that's fine. You can just do the sausages first, or you might want to just grill the sausages first. Just do one thing at a time. Just make sure you're comfortable in what you're doing. Now, if you're going to grill, my advice would be to get your grill pan and get some foil and just put the foil in to the grill pan. Like this. And then put your grill back on. You line your sausages up and you put it into the grill. Now there are two reasons for doing this. The first reason is that once you've used it, you can let it cool, and then you can just pick the foil up, fold it away and put it in the bin. But also the foil reflects the heat back up onto the sausages. So that's the reason I put foil onto my grill. Now, these have been cooking for about 7 minutes. You see the onions have gone all soft. I'm going to add my green beans. Obviously you don't have to have green beans or any of the vegetables. I tend to put a lot of vegetables in my cooking just so we can get all the vitamins that we need in our meal. Put my peppers in. And we give that a couple of minutes to cook down as well. The sausages have been cooking and they're nice and brown, so I'm just going to turn that off while I carry on with this dish here. So this has been cooking for about an extra 3 minutes or so. Give that a stir. Now I'm going to add some paprika. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of cumin. I'll just show you that. See, slightly heat. Put that in. And I'm going to squeeze about half a teaspoon of garlic in there. A little bit of thyme, or you might just want to put a little bit of mixed herbs in. And give that a stir. And then I've got my vegetable stock cube here. I'm just going to cut that into smaller pieces, or if it's the stock cube that's quite crumbly, you can just break that in. So I've cut it into smaller pieces and I'm just going to put that in. And my chopped tomatoes. That's a stir. Then I've refilled the tin with half of the tin with some hot water. Put that in. And then I will put the lid on and leave that to simmer. So we'll leave that to simmer for about let's start off with 3 to 4 minutes and we'll see where we are. So while the sauce is simmering, I've got my sausages here. I've put it on a plate, and what I'm going to do is just slice them into nice little chunks. Now you may want to leave the sausages whole, but I am going to cut these into smaller pieces. Right, this has been simmering away for 3.5 minutes. Let's just have a look. Just give that a stir. I think I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Do taste the dish as you're cooking. You might want a little bit more garlic or cumin. Just get a teaspoon, dunk it in, and just make sure you blow it to cool down, and do give it a taste. It's personal preference. Right, now I'm going to open my tin of beans, pop that in. Now you can use whatever beans you like. I'm just using baked beans. Give that a good stir. And then I'm going to put in my sausages that I've chopped up. Whoops, dropped one. Now, very carefully, I've got quite a lot of mixture in here. Mix that in. And then on a really gentle low heat, just leave that to simmer now for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on it. Just to clarify, when I say simmer, I mean so that it's bubbling slightly, as you can see there. But obviously, even though I've said 5 minutes, you still have to keep an eye on it and come back to give it a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Now this has been simmering for 5 minutes, and I've just realised this pan has a little hole here, so it lets the steam out. Obviously if you don't have that, you just put the lid slightly ajar, so then the steam can still come out. So let's just have a look. Let's give that a stir around. Making sure that you touch the bottom of the pan in case there's a little bit that's sort of stuck at the bottom. There we go. And we're going to give that another 5 minutes. Now it's on very low heat, that's important. So let's give it another 5 minutes and then it should be ready. But please do check, do stir. Now it's been cooking for the extra 5 minutes. Let's just take the lid off. And turn the gas off for the heat. And there you have it. So you can have this on its own, or you might like to do some boiled potatoes. It can go on top of a jacket potato. You can have it with rice. Whatever you feel like, it's entirely up to you. If you had new potatoes, you might want to cook the potatoes separately, or you could cook the potatoes and then put them into the same saucepan It's really flexible, it's entirely up to you. So you can have it this runny, or you can thicken it up with a little bit of corn flour and water. As you know, I use it quite a lot in my dishes, so it's entirely up to you. I hope you enjoy cooking. With all my recipes, you can add or take away any vegetable. I do tend to use quite a bit of vegetables in my cooking, just so you get all the vitamins that you need in a meal. So good luck, give it a go, and I hope you enjoy.